Hello there, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Monday to you, or if you're watching this after the fact, happy whatever day you're watching it on. Hey, Danny, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to be doing some Skyrim stuff. My plans for today is basically just a Q&A with you guys. I wanted to take down some Bandit Camps. I thought that would be a fun use of our time, just because it's been a while since I did any heavy combat. So I was thinking I would pick up our Redguard character, who should still work. There hasn't really been any changes to the load order, I'm fairly certain. Hey, Errant Knight, how you doing? Yeah, we're going to be doing some Bandit Camp combat. Maybe some other stuff, too. And it would be fun if I show off the bottled water changes. That's a small feature that is now in the game that was not before. Let me see here. Alright, we should be good, actually. So I'm hoping... Ooh. Listen to that tension music. Hey, Fortuna, how you doing? So what I've mostly been doing the last week, or I guess the last week, is just crafting overhaul stuff. It's frankly not all that flashy or exciting, because the first portion of the crafting overhaul is very unromantic. It just consists of, well, for the most part, consists of going through every crafting recipe in the game and making sure that they are all assigned to the proper crafting station. In some cases, it also involves duplicating the recipes for use at other crafting stations. That mostly fits into recipes that should be craftable through the player crafting ability, the survival crafting ability. So typically speaking, I'll have to make duplicate recipes for some things involving either the forge if it started at the survival crafting, or vice versa, at survival crafting if it started at the forge. Not for everything, of course. Not for anything that actually would require a forge, like, weapons and armor. Oh my gosh. Sunrise of flutes. But that's what I've been doing. As you can imagine, it's a very time-consuming process. It can be monotonous, but it can also be fun, because there are occasionally opportunities to do actual... Man, that is very loud. Let me go ahead and turn that down a little bit, or I'm going to wait for this to load. Here we go. There are opportunities for actual design and changes. Like, every once in a while, I'll come across something that gives me an opportunity to implement a new feature, or to change something about how the game actually plays versus just... Besides, of course, the crafting overhaul changes. Come on, baby. Ever since I changed one tweak to work in legitimate full screen mode, the game has gotten real upset whenever I alt-tab out. That's actually a change that I will probably forward to 4.0, just because I have had a lot of frame rate improvement using the full screen default as opposed to borderless window. Come on, baby. You can do it. I know you can. So one of the feature changes, and I'm actually disproportionately excited about this, probably more excited than I should be for what it is, but just because I got to work on it on the back end, and it's really cool. I was going through the crafting recipes, and I found just a bunch of recipes related to empty bottles. Come on, Skyrim, you're killing me. And that got me thinking about empty bottles, right? How you can get empty bottles in Skyrim. And I couldn't remember, it's somewhere in the back of my mind, there was in one of the mods embedded in the game, either through iNeed or maybe dynamic things, there was some feature for filling bottled water at water sources, right? I couldn't find anything in the game. There was some copy related to filling bottled water in dynamic things, but I couldn't get it to take. So I kind of decided that it's like, well, if you have bottled water and we have water skins and stuff, an empty bottle should be able to be filled with water, right? It just makes sense. Also, I'm going to turn off that music. Fuck me. Give me 2 seconds. Hey, Zieri, how you doing? Because I'm confusing myself with the two audio tracks. Okay, now we get to do this song and dance again. I'm going to let it sit for a second, just see if it pops back in. I thought that it didn't really make sense that you could have bottled water, empty bottles, and not fill those up with water. So I tried to go and find a mod that did that, and I managed to find one. It's very, very cool. I can't remember the author's name offhand, but it'll be officially implemented in the pack. I'll be talking about it in this week's development update as well, so all the information will be listed there. Hey, ST, how you doing? And what was I gonna say? Yeah, so anyway, I found that mod, and it covers another part of the functionality that I thought would be kind of important, which is beverages that come in bottles, right? So most of your alcohols, for example, those come in bottles, and for whatever reason, when the character drinks the alcohol, they throw away the bottle, I guess, as well, even though there already is an item in the game that is an empty bottle. And so this mod tries to address that as well by adding a script so that the default alcohols in vanilla Skyrim produce an empty bottle when you use them. So I thought that was really cool. So if you drink, ale or mead or whatever, it'll pop an empty bottle in your inventory, and you can also use those empty bottles to refill water, or you can fill them with water at any water source according to iNeeds scripts, which Isoku was really kind to lend to this mod author to use standalone in this bottle mod, designed specifically for Requiem. However, see, I'm going with, these are all new test characters. Where's my guy? You can see I have, wow, almost past 2,400 saves. Those are probably all on this computer too. I believe I still have saves even from Hjolfrid back in the day. All right, Markarth, these should do it. I'm in the famous Markarth lane. Hey Felix, how you doing? So anyway, so this bottle mod, right? So that's all the functionality that it comes with out of the box. Where I ran into issues was a couple different spots. Not really issues, just areas in which the functionality needed to expand to cover everything in Ultimate Skyrim. The first one was other alcohols, which included all the alcohols from the DLCs, which were not included in the base mod, and alcohols that are added by other mods entirely, things like Expanded Towns and Cities, and Worm's Tooth had some. I think a couple other mods did as well. Zieri says, I need a mod which makes you not drunk after one bottle of beer. Well, to be fair, Zieri, that is much better in Requiem 2.0 if you haven't played with it. The effects, you're still a little tipsy. I guess the implication is that you are drinking the entire bottle of like mead or ale, which I will say from firsthand experience, if you drink an entire bottle of mead, you're going to be pretty fucked up. But the visual effects and the stuff that it produces are not quite so debilitating right off the bat. It's a better scale, which I think is really cool. It's part of the general enhancements to consumables that Requiem 2.0 includes. Anyway, there was a problem in terms of expanding that functionality. Not really a problem, just that functionality needed to be expanded to other alcohols that were not covered by the original mod. So I went through and did that. When you actually drink bottled water from Requiem, you didn't get bottles back from that, so I took the functionality of receiving the bottles after drinking and applied it to those as well. So in theory, just like with a water skin, you can stand at a water source and just fill it up, drink it, fill it up, drink it, and you'll always have the bottle. And the other thing that I wanted to do was make it so that if you had a bottle of alcohol, let's say, and you didn't want to drink it, you just wanted the empty bottle, I wanted to make that possible as well, specifically because of what Zieri is talking about here, where in Requiem there's strong visual effects tied to alcohol. So I figured it's like if you're in a situation where you have a bottle of mead and all you want to do is get the empty bottle so that you can fill it up at a river, you're probably not going to down the entire bottle of mead just to do that. So I also made it so that you can empty out any of the bottles as well using your player crafting ability. In fact, here, we can show it off. We should be able to. It should show up in our boy Zeltier's game, that functionality. But I'm not 100% certain. Also, something I got to do, I was really happy about this. For a long time, I could not... let's let's see. Hold on, what did I miss here? Need a mod which makes you not drunk after one bottle of beer. It'd be cool if there was a drinking skill for increasing tolerance to alcohol. I agree with that, Errant Knight. I'm always interested in putting more secondary progression trees in there. And there's actually a really nice framework for that through Campfire if you wanted to use the typical skill tree platform. That would be really nice to consolidate at some point, because you have a couple mods in the installation that use their own progression system. Also, Jesus, I never noticed that before. Things like Hunterborn come to mind, where Hunterborn just, and I understand why they do it, the mod authors, it's a, you can't count on other mods typically when you're not playing a large mod list that is consistent. So Hunterborn, for example, has its own progression system that is built into the functionality that functions in a very unique way that is different from any other progression system in the game. It doesn't edit, it's for compatibility, it doesn't edit perk trees, it doesn't edit anything that other mods might overwrite. It just uses a series of global variables and just accumulated variables to recognize when you've done a lot of Hunterborn things, and then it allows you to make more stuff or do more stuff as you progress in the Hunterborn stuff. However, Campfire's secondary skill trees, right, the ones that help you improve your resilience to cold weather, that help you improve your ability to gather and craft survival items, that framework is arguably perfect for something like Hunterborn, or even we considered putting in secondary skill trees like cooking. Like, that's another one that currently doesn't have that much of a progression system. It'll be better in 4.0 because of the recipe system, where cooking is not quite so simple. You do have to find the recipes for things that you want to cook. At least that's how it's planned to work. And also, the value of cooked meals will be quite a bit higher in 4.0, just to provide players an alternative means of making money in the new system, which I thought would be really funny. Not funny, rather. Cool, we'll say. But, oh yeah, what got me talking about this is that while I was messing around with I Need and with the bottled water stuff, I finally discovered the way that I Need identifies water sources. And I don't know why I couldn't find it before, but I was convinced that the way that I Need functions with all its other functionality through food and drink and sleep and whatever, or maybe not sleep, I don't know, but food and drink, it basically just, it has form lists where you put everything, you say, hey, if you want a food to be a large meal or a medium meal or a small meal or even a soup, which actually gives you some bonus back for warmth, you just take the form ID of whatever the food item is and you put it in that form list. It's very easy. It's designed for patching and for easy accessibility for other mods, which is really cool. Same thing with drink. Anything you want to have replenish the character's hydration, you can just put in this list of items. And turns out that water, or what is identified as a water source, functions through a very similar system. It was just a little bit more hidden. So I found that, which I'm really excited about, because that means I should be able to fix a couple of instances that you guys have probably seen by now, where we go and try and fill up water at a water source and it just doesn't work out. In fact, I think that this river is one such thing. So I should be able to, it kind of bothers me though, because the fact that these rivers are originating in base Skyrim means they're probably on that list already, and for whatever reason they just aren't being recognized. Hey Tricky Dragon, how you doing? Oh, without further ado, let's go ahead and, let's see, go Nordme. Come on, Nordme. Oops, help Nordme. Player.add item. What do we got? 34C5D1. Alright, so we got Nordme. Now, I'm not 100% sure this will work on Zeltier because he's an older character before this functionality was implemented. But, oh, well, he should, because I changed this to bottled milk. Probably should change the model, too, just so it doesn't look like a jug. I changed jug of milk to bottled milk so that I could add that functionality to milk as well. So you can see down in the description box, restores thirst and produces an empty bottle on use. So that's additional flavor text that will tell you any beverage that you have that will produce an empty bottle. You'll see that Nordmead has the same copy text, so it produces an empty bottle on use. See, Errant Knight says, what's the FPS been like during testing? Any problem areas? Oh, absolutely. There's always problem areas, at least with regular Skyrim. That is classic Skyrim Classic. I'll show you here. This is the gnarliest problem area in the game. I will show you right now. Whoa, that is weird. Why is my camera jumping up and down like that? Oh, my stamina's going way down. Why am I moving so slowly, too? What's up with Zeltier? It's just because I'm heavy? Maybe that's just how fast he moves. Am I wearing any heavy armor? Perhaps. That's not the right inventory. Go apparel, backpack, leather boots, studded armor. No, that's all evasion. Don't know. Anyway, so this is the most performance-intensive area in the entire game. And I can't remember offhand what the FPS thing is. So right here, you can see in the top left, because I am... Well, so right here I'm getting approximately 23 FPS, which is really not fantastic. It's faster when I am just running Skyrim by itself, and when I'm not streaming and running, I don't know, 4 additional monitors at the same time. And I would say that in this area, it sits around, realistically, 30 FPS, and that's pretty low. But see, if you turn like this way, like now we're getting 37. You turn this way even just a slight bit, because obviously it's not rendering hardly anything at all. Now it's up to 60. That kind of inconsistency is just an unfortunate limitation of, see, like this is all probably, if not 60, in the 45, 50 range, even though it's looking at a ton of shit. This is a unfortunate limitation of using the 32-bit architecture of classic Skyrim. It's one of the reasons why I would really love to move to Special Edition at some point, just to get that additional bit of performance out of the game. From first-hand experience, it really doesn't bother me all that much. And in the vast majority of cases, the performance, the FPS, is very solid and very consistent. These cities that are chock full of stuff from like Dawn of Skyrim are definitely your problem areas. Things like even like ETAC, expanded towns and cities, can be problematic in that way. I'm actually holding out hope that when we upgrade to Dawn of Skyrim's Director's Edition, Director's Cut, that there might be some improvements to FPS in the cities, just because, you know, typically mod authors, when they release a follow-up version to their mod, you're always learning stuff when you're modding. You're always learning about new techniques to improve your functionality, to improve performance in FPS. So I wouldn't be surprised if the author has learned some techniques or made some changes specifically for that purpose. Oh, Margaret. Sorry, my love. You got. Anyway, God. So easily... Oops. Sorry, chicken. So easily distracted. Let us go ahead and... Oh, this is another thing I need to do. With the Snowfall patch, we accidentally reverted the changes that we made to certain bodies of water and their color. So we're getting some very green water. It doesn't look that weird here in Markarth because it's, I think, kind of supposed to be a little bit gross. But in some other areas, it's very noticeable. We can check that out, actually, if we want to. Anyway, do I have a button? No. Item. Let's go some food. So we got this Nordme. I can actually just drink the bottled milk. So you can see I got empty bottle received. I'm feeling well hydrated. Delicious milk. I believe that this water is one of the water types that, for whatever reason, does not get recognized by I need. So you go in your inventory here, you get empty bottle. Oh, okay, it worked fine. Empty bottle exchanged for bottled water. So now you see I've got a nice bottled water here, and you drink it. And for whatever reason, I cannot get I need to recognize the bottled water anymore on the first go, because Requiem's bottled water is already listed in that list of waters that I mentioned earlier, but something about the way the script functions is disallowing it from being recognized by I need just the first time. All you got to do is go here, assign it to drink, non-alcoholic, so now it recognizes bottled water as water. Hopefully we can find a fix for that, you know, before launch, but it's not super high up on my priority list because it still functions as it's supposed to. Hey Smokey Bear, how you doing? So anyway, we got bottled water, right? So you can drink it, you get an empty bottle back, take another one. Am I getting multiple? Oh! Hold on a second. Okay, let's make sure we're not duping here. because I forgot that when you use it that first time for I need, it actually puts the original food or drink or whatever. When you're using I need's auto assignment functionality for whether something's supposed to be a food or a drink or whatever, it gives you the item back because you actually consumed it a second ago and it didn't know what to do with it, and it can't apply what it's supposed to do with it retroactively is what it seems. So it gives you the bottled water back, and that's how we ended up with 2. So we got bottled water here. Danny, have you thought about adding less intrusive HUD? I use it along with the newest beta, and it works wonders. I have, Danny. Actually, the entire HUD is going to be getting a rework. Maybe not for the release of 4.0, just because it's not quite so important as to push back the release time. But it might even be coming in the next update after that. I've wanted to really overhaul the UI in a couple significant ways. I've been doing a lot of research on UI design and looking at other games and how they do certain things. I'm really going for a much... I say minimalist, but it's more than just minimalist. I want something functional. The minimalism is not my number one priority. My number one priority is functionality, keeping things uncluttered, which is similar to minimalism, but not quite the same necessarily. And I want to reduce eye tracking and eye movement. I don't want the player... As it is right now, I'm kind of using many areas around the periphery of the screen to represent as much information as possible. And frankly, there is a lot of information currently displayed that is not all that important to see all the time at a glance. Things like loot and degradations widgets come to mind. And a lot of that stuff I would like to cut to reduce that clutter and to reduce the player having to look around their entire screen constantly. So you can look forward to that in future versions. Anyway, so we got bottled water. You can drink it. You can fill it back up again. And just drink as much water, to your heart's content. And the same thing will happen if you use, Nordme. I don't want to use it because I'm going to get drunk. So Nordme, great alcohol, gives you all that wonderful alcohol bonus, but it also fucks up your vision. And there's just a lot of times when you don't want to drink alcohol to get an empty bottle because of the malices that drinking alcohol brings. So in those cases, you can open up your player crafting menu. I got it all favorited already. Where is it? Craft item. I already had that equipped. And you should be able to empty it out. So you got village red wine, you got empty bottle. You can just take it. You can create an empty bottle out of your village red wine, which essentially is you dumping it out. That's how it's supposed to be justified in game. So now you lose your Nordmead, but you've got empty bottles. I'm also thinking about consolidating the empty bottles that you receive from this functionality. The mod author of the original mod did a really cool thing. I think it's really awesome, where he or she tried to match the bottle that you receive, the empty bottle, with the bottle model used by whatever alcohol you consumed. But because we have expanded it to so many other models, I think it just becomes a little bit too difficult to maintain that functionality through all the different, proprietary models that have been included in Ultimate Skyrim for alcohol. I also am not a huge fan of having multiple types of empty bottles in your inventory. I think from a consistency and design standpoint, it's just better or I prefer it, in my own personal opinion, if there's just one type of empty bottle, so you don't have like a million of these that like some of them stack and other ones don't, and I'm just not a fan of that. So we'll see. But that's the basic functionality there, which was really fun to implement, but my god, it's like taking all of that, putting the mod in, and adding it to all the appropriate project files and lists, not to mention expanding the functionality to all that stuff. It doesn't seem like a large task, but making it work properly and giving it that kind of degree of polish, that probably took in total about 4 to 5 work hours. That was almost a solid day's worth of development time, which is why just the scope of this project, as it gets larger and larger, there's a lot to do, we'll say. I agree. All bottles have the same texture. Oh, you're saying you prefer that, ST. Gotcha. Now let's see here. feel like we should take down some bandit camps. I think that would be fun. I'm thinking, why don't we go to the Whiterun exterior? Go Whiterun exterior 01. It's like when you know the cell codes, you can teleport all around. Also, apologies for the little event list in the bottom right of the stream being all out of sync. For whatever reason, Streamlabs changed up their thing, and I got to go in and fix that. Corrupted Slime says, hello, BB. Would you mind sharing your opinion about immersive world encounters? I think it sounds awesome, Corrupted Slime. I love the idea of more world encounters. For those of you who don't know, a world encounter differs from a random encounter, and that a world encounter refers to the types of, it's almost like NPC interactions that can happen in the game. So, for example, if you drop an item, someone asks you if they can take it, or you drop like a weapon in a city, right? And a guard comes up and says, hey, like, don't leave weapons around here. That's really dangerous. Things like that are quote-unquote world encounters, and random encounters are just the randomized encounters that you encounter when you're out in the world, and there's like a marker set, and it's a list of things that can be spawned in that marker. And immersive world encounters adds more to both, as far as I know, which I really like. I've always been a big fan of encounters mods just because, as you guys probably know by now, one of the major design, arguably the largest design principle of Ultimate Skyrim is interactive systems. It's creating a dynamic world that interacts with itself in systemic ways so as to produce nearly infinite content, right? There's so many different types of things that can happen because of the systems that are built up through the mods and tweaked. The different AI changes, things like factions moving around that might dynamically encounter other factions that they have certain relationships with. So, when you have a patrol walking around in the wilderness and prey animals get close enough to them, or the prey animals are hungry thanks to the systems from Skytest, like there will be a fight there, or maybe there won't be in some other encounters. Just things that make the world feel alive and make traveling through the same areas over and over again, as you do in this game, because the world really is not that big. Just things that make occupying the same areas or traveling through the same areas still fun and engaging. Even things like having the prices change from region to region, or adding world events that change the way that the economy works. All this stuff is designed to make traversing the same areas and the same world still fun, even though you've already been, like, I've been in Whiterun like a million times before, right? But you still never know what's going to happen because of all these systems working together and, making these interesting dynamic encounters happen. Circling back, the reason I'm talking about this is for that reason. Encounter mods are something that I've always loved, something I've always been fascinated by, because they are fantastic at injecting that random element into the game. There are quite a few encounters already in the game by default, thanks to Bethesda, but when you've played the game for hundreds, if not thousands of hours, like most of us have, or a lot of us have, you've really seen every encounter that there is multiple times. And so having these mods that inject new encounters and well-designed encounters, just building up that numerical list. It's not even like the vanilla encounters are bad, but when they become repetitious, that's the kind of thing that can hamper your enjoyment of the game, I think, in a pretty big way. So filling in that list with a bunch more encounters that are, of course, well-designed in and of themselves really helps solve that problem. And it makes it, too, where the original encounters get to shine in their own way because they're not quite so repeated all the time, Like the one that comes to mind is those revelers, right, who are just out on the road kind of enjoying drink or whatever. I think it's related to trying to get you into like the Thieves Guild quest line, or maybe one of the Daedric quests, maybe like Sanguine or something like that. I can't remember what their dialogue specifically relates to, but finding like a bunch of revelers out on the street in the wild just drinking is kind of an interesting, cool thing that is fun to incorporate into your character's like dynamic story. But when you, like, over the course of 10 levels, when you encounter those guys like 10 times, it kind of sucks a little bit, right? Like that encounter that was kind of cool and interesting to start with, just on its own, is made less interesting simply by virtue of the repetition. And so I really love Encounters mods, putting more in there, just adding to that variability of the world. So I guess to answer your question, Corrupted Slime, I really like the idea of immersive world encounters. I'm so stoked that Extended Encounters by John Oxor, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, the guy who made Worm's Tooth, he had an... I'm going to pause it so I don't just burn my daylight oil here. That mod author, who is incredibly talented mod author, he used to have a mod called Extended Encounters that was in the original version of Ultimate Skyrim that adds just a bunch of these types of encounters that I'm talking about into the world, and they're all really awesome and really well designed. And unfortunately, when he took his hiatus from modding, that mod was no longer available publicly. It's like Worm's Tooth. So I had to drop official support for it because players couldn't get it, right? And the whole thing about Ultimate Skyrim is that you have to be able to get the mods yourself, so I can't really include mods that are not available publicly. But now John has kind of come back into the modding scene at least a bit. He's not put his mods on the Nexus, but he hosts them himself on archive.org. So the installation process is just slightly trickier than just clicking, the mod organizer download button. But it's available publicly, which means that I also have a chance to reincorporate an updated version of Extended Encounters into the installation, which I'm really excited about. So maybe in a future version, we can get Extended Encounters and a mod like Immersive World Encounters, both in the installation, which is just, if this is how many encounters there are in the game right now, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but we are conceivably talking about increasing that amount of encounters by a multiplied degrees, maybe twice as many or even 3 times as many if we're lucky. And that is the kind of thing that is really, I think, going to enhance that dynamic feel of the game and those systemic interactions, especially when you consider the fact that because we're working with a large, consistent mod list, a lot of the times the encounters will be spawning a certain type of creature, right? And when that happens, those creatures typically are from vanilla spawn lists, and the vanilla spawn lists have all the enhancements and all the systemic edits that are included in Ultimate Skyrim. So, if an encounter spawns, let's say like a bear and a saber cat and another type of animal, the improvements to animal faction interactions through stuff like Sky Test, or our own edits, those will apply to the encounters added by these mods. So you get that extra level of dynamic kind of variability. It's just, wow, it makes me so excited to think about, all right, what have I missed here? Let's see. Hey BB, have you thought about adding Wyco? Yes, I have, ST. That is, for anyone who doesn't know, it is the Windsong character overhaul. This is just an NPC appearance overhaul. Honestly, Ultimate Skyrim has been in need of an NPC appearance overhaul for a long time. I didn't include one originally because the stuff... I include, Xenius's character enhancements, just older kind of baseline character improvements that just make them not so terrible to look at. But it's definitely not... That's probably the area of Ultimate Skyrim that is the most uncovered, is NPC appearances. And I did that for a while just because NPC appearances I found to be an area where people had their own particular tastes. And also just because it's an extensive thing, like, to add to the game. But I think it's pretty overdue at this point, and looking at Windsong, it appears to be kind of like what I enjoyed about Xenius's stuff, where it's nothing... That was the other reason that so many of the NPC character enhancements, I think, take a specific type of appearance to the characters and just really gun it to like the 12th degree. So you end up with these characters that look really over beautified, or just whatever the style of the enhancement is. It's that just really cranked up. And I've always been a fan of maintaining the vanilla feel more or less. All of this kind of incorporating that with Windsong. Windsong does seem to be almost like an enhanced version of those baseline improvements that come in something like Xenius's character enhancements. It makes the NPCs look a lot better. They don't look crazy, oversaturated or over beautified. It seems to fit really well into the original design philosophy of the game's NPC visuals, while also bringing them back into the modern era, the 2018 era of Skyrim modding, if you will, graphically. Let's see. Sacratellis. Sacraletius. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Hi there. I'm a big fan of Ultimate Skyrim and a mod author myself. Whoa, welcome and thanks for joining us, man. Let's see. Felix Lucius. I like spell study as far as systemic ways goes, so in-depth to me anyway. That's another great one, Felix. Spell research. Something that adds new types of items to loot lists. So like when you go through a dungeon or when you're popping in at the local general store, you're finding shit like old relics and artifacts. Okay, Sacraletius. I'm pronouncing that hopefully correctly. Thank you for following. You find these new types of items, right, that are useful in new ways. You're like this spell research guy, and you're like, oh, fuck yeah. I can use this to, like, research that archetype that I've been trying to work on so I can create all these AoE spells for, like, this other thing that I've been trying to do. It's that idea of creating player-defined goals and giving them, like, a million different tools to achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve, that we really go for, because that makes it so that you are constantly being excited by the things that you find. It makes you want to go and check out that general store because you never know what's going to be there. And all the things that'll be there could open up totally new opportunities. It could be something as simple as like, oh man, like in this store, this guy's selling like a mortar and pestle. So with that, I can make alchemy potions on the fly. And because I now have that additional ability, it kind of changes how I'm going to spend my time now. Like maybe now with that, I can go out, it's worth it for me to go out into like this area and get a bunch of reagents from there, because then I can actually use them right then and there, and I won't have to pop back to town to, improve my experience, won't have to pay anyone for their alchemy lab or whatever. And then you start thinking like, okay, well, if I'm going to be in this area, gathering up all these ingredients anyway, why don't I grab a hunting permit at the same time and focus on hunting for a little bit and maybe kill two birds with one stone. Or maybe I don't grab a hunting permit and I'm like, fuck it, I'm a poacher. I'm going to be far enough out into the wilderness anyway. I'm collecting all these alchemy reagents. I don't need a permit. There's not going to be any guards around. So I'm just going to focus on getting my hunting up, skinning, and it's like, oh man, well, if I'm going to be out there skinning, be out there in the wilderness, I should probably form myself like at least a little bit of a base. So then you start thinking about the materials that you need to build like a small campsite, right? That you can use as a home base for while you're doing this stuff. There's just so many fucking options, and it's so systemic that I don't know. It's like the world is your oyster, and that's the feeling that I'm trying to create with the whole dealio. ST, please, Belmont boy, stop. I'm already losing so many hours of my life. Dude, you and me both, man. This is why, you guys have heard me say this before. I feel so extremely lucky to be able to pursue something like this full time, because because of the brilliance of the Skyrim modding community, and I say that with full seriousness. It's not hyperbole. The brilliance and the breadth of the work in the Skyrim modding community, there is this opportunity here to create an experience with, like a large mod list that is unlike anything else that's out there. And in any game, there's elements of this stuff in other games, right, that are inspirations to me, and I know to many other modders. But here you have, because of just how much stuff, all the different toys that you have to play with via mods, there's just so much opportunity to create an experience, a gaming experience that just does not exist anywhere else. And I think that's really exciting. It definitely invokes my passion, and really it makes me want to drain all my own hours, right? Just pouring it on the back end and also playing the game. That would be really nice if I could do that. Smokey Bear, hey Lady Winter, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Smokey Bear says, what enemy/spawn mods are you incorporating? Well, that would be mostly the encounter mods that we were talking about before, Smokey Bear, so Corrupted Slime. I don't have any plans at the moment to add any like brand new enemies mods, things like what's the one that everyone loves? Immersive creatures, I believe it's called. I think that a lot of the creatures are a little over the top and don't necessarily fit. I know it's also very configurable, so it's something that, if I'm being honest, I haven't looked seriously at in a long time, just because also this is how it gets with the breadth of the installation, right? And I started saying this when we were in Markarth. The more we add to the configuration at large, the harder it gets to add more stuff in, not because of the like stability. Like at this point, it's fairly easy, barring, acts of God, to make sure that nothing can, like the whole patching idea, right? Making sure there's nothing conflicts. That's like baseline at this point. Like that's, we can crank that out. It's not quick a lot of the time, but we can do that. We've been doing that for forever. I've been doing that for forever since I started building out Ultimate Skyrim. So conflict resolution, that's no problem. It's the stuff like if I add in new creatures, right? Presumably those new creatures have new ingredients. They have new parts of themselves. The new creature needs to be, let's say, expanded to Hunterborn, right? So it interacts consistently with Hunterborn. The new ingredients have to potentially be balanced. They have to be introduced into leveled lists that have been edited. The new other parts of the, like, let's say they drop bones or something, those have to be made to work with Hunterborn and also added to appropriate level lists and distribution. The foodstuffs, or the, like, let's say it just tries to go, like, you add a new creature to the game and by default it's set to drop just basic raw meat. Well, now in Ultimate Skyrim, basic raw meat doesn't exist anymore. That's horse meat by Requiem, and every creature has its own type of meat via Hunterborn and Skytest. And also, there are now a bunch of cooking recipes, right, that use individual specific meat types. So if we want to make parity with the new creature meat, we have to add in new recipes and stuff that utilize those meats meaningfully if we want to keep it on par with everything that's already in the installation. And this is what I mean where I say that adding new stuff has to be very carefully considered, because the work that is required to make new additions consistent across the board, and that consistency is like the main thing of Ultimate Skyrim, that work can be considerable, even for something that seems small. Like, take that mod with the bottles. Just add in a mod to give you bottles when you drink alcohol, which is, don't get me wrong, it's very complex to implement, but the end result seems relatively simple comparative to other stuff. But even just adding that in now requires 4 or 5 hours of additional work to make it work with all the rest of the stuff in Ultimate Skyrim. And a lot of that too is because we're ambitious and we want to, it's not enough that you have the bottles spawn in your inventory after you drink the alcohol. We want it to work with things that are non-alcoholic too, and we want it to make it so you don't have to drink whatever it is. You can just empty it out. That stuff adds to the work, but that's because that's what I like to do, because it adds that additional, it makes, I don't know, in my opinion, and I got to be careful with this, but it's the kind of thing that's only possible in a large mod list where everyone's working off of the same platform. And to me, it's just like, now, like this, like that mod, which adds a relatively simple mechanic to the game, is now fucking awesome, right? Like, you can use it for like so many different situations now. And I feel myself, and I hope that the mod authors feel this way, I know there's varying opinions, but I feel like it hopefully gives those mods a chance to really take center stage and be recognized for how awesome they really are, like conceptually and like how they're implemented. That's how I hope people feel anyway. It's how I feel about the base game as well, because I think, and I've said this before too, there's so much in vanilla Skyrim that actually is pretty cool. I would say that vanilla Skyrim's biggest shortcoming is its actual gameplay and systems design. That is the shallowest part of Skyrim. There's not a lot of depth to the gameplay, but there's a lot of stuff about it that is really awesome. Things like the world building, the detail in a lot of cases, not detail applied to the game systems again, but detail applied to the world and the environments, the characters in a lot of cases. People describe Skyrim's characters as generic a lot of the time, and I see where they're coming from. But that's because the default way that the game encourages you to play has you moving through everything so fast, moving through all the content. It's like you never stop to smell the roses at all. And in that case, of course you're not going to remember the details injected into every character, because the game is just encouraging you to just go as fast as possible. Fast travel here, kill that thing, come back, get the reward, do it again, over here with new quest lines, same thing. It's like the game is constantly having you run at 1,000,000 miles a minute, I think because they're afraid that if you stop and smell the roses, you'll see how shallow the gameplay systems actually are. But that's why something like this, like a large mod list, gives us this wonderful opportunity to highlight what is so awesome about the detail and the world building, because we can add that gameplay system's depth so that when you stop to smell the roses, you're not left with a shitty smell in your mouth and in your nose. By adding that depth and by adding all the mods that build out the actual gameplay experience, you can afford to just kind of slow down and like take in everything around you, even if it's something as simple as going into a house that you normally wouldn't have in a village because you're chilling in that village for gameplay reasons. You go into a house, you talk to a character that you never saw before, you encounter some dialogue that's actually kind of interesting, or a character that actually has some depth, or even like you go outside and you look at a flower, you know, or just look at like, wow, the way that Bethesda designed the little ground clutter system is actually pretty cool and fills out the graphics for just like ground and like foliage and stuff. That's the kind of thing that I mean. I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm getting real caught up today. I don't know. I'm just in a talking mood. I had a really good weekend. I got to take engagement photos with my fiance, which was a lot of fun, and that probably has influenced my good mood this morning. Oh, lady, good. How are you? I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are doing well as well. Sacroletia says, do you have a Discord channel at Belmont Boy? Yes, I do. It should be linked down in the panels underneath the Twitch stream. At least, hopefully it is. It was last time I checked. Lady says, Beasts of Tamriel is a decent one if you do consider adding one. They have stayed pretty lore-friendly, more or less. Thanks for that heads up, lady. I don't think I've actually heard of Beasts of Tamriel. I'm going to write that in my handy-dandy notebook. There is... Oh, you guys want to see some... Let's see, what does all this say? No, I'm just making sure that's all good. Check this out. This is my hand. These were some early concepts for logo redesigns. I'm going to bring that right up to the camera for US, or my very shitty drawing job. Tyler and I have been working on some kind of branding overhauls for Ultimate Skyrim. We're working with some pretty cool stuff now, but we're still kind of working out the kinks. Those will launch alongside 4.0 with the improved website and everything else. What was I doing? Oh yeah, Beast of Tamriel. So easily distracted. I'm like a squirrel. Let me see. I'll write this down. There we go. Beasts of Tamriel. Thank you, lady, for the suggestion. Felix says, can you use them for skooma, or is skooma separate? Skooma is, if you're talking about the bottle system, Felix, skooma is separate. Right now, anything that is a like an alchemy vial is totally separate. I was thinking about that and just thinking about how I think there are mods that add, like, I actually found a couple, but they're old and not updated, and I don't really know how they interface with the rest of the installation. But there's a couple mods out there that make it so you need empty vials in order to craft potions at all, which I think is interesting. But I think introducing this bottle system into alchemy as it currently is would be far too much of a headache for what you get out of it. But I may reevaluate that at a future point. And that would be a good chance to do it is if we end up overhauling drugs in general, right? Which is something that I've talked about doing in the past, something I think would be fun. Just giving people more shit to do, really. ST says, "Hey Belmont boy, how do I repair my equipment past 75%? I took it to Yorlin Greymane and had it tempered, but it was only 75% out of like 490." It's important that you recognize there, ST, how the percentages work in loot and degradation. So actually probably it looks like it's 75%, but that is probably 75% of that 10% tier. It's kind of confusing in that way. So like you'll have like 490%, and once that 75% goes all the way down, it'll go from like 490 to 480 or something like that. The percentages are confusing. Lady Winter forgot, but so probably what's happening is that your gear is appropriately tempered. If you're getting a readout of 490% anywhere, your gear is probably tempered like crazy. Actually, on that note, the mod author of Hone Metal Skyline, we were talking in the Requiem subreddit about the kind of balance exploit that tempering creates as it is right now with the recommended MCM settings. If you encounter a smith who is very experienced, someone like Yorling Greymane, for example, if you gather up enough money, you can very easily go and get like an end game level temper as an early game character, which it makes sense logically from a gameplay design standpoint. It's a little bit exploitative. So what we were thinking, he actually gave us a custom proprietary bit of code that he had built like back in the day. He doesn't have a computer right now, so he doesn't have a chance to implement this into his core mod, but he gave us permission to implement this code in an edit to Hone Metal if we desire, that basically scales the availability of high level tempering with your character's level. So if you are, let's say, like a very low level character, there is a scaled maximum threshold on the quality of tempers that you can receive. So if you're really low level, even if you go to Yorling Greymane, he's still probably going to give you a better temper than a proportionately less skilled smith, but he won't be able to give you those end game tempers that can kind of break the game in a way that it's not really intended. Something I would also like to do, something I was thinking about as a result of that conversation, was creating a system that ties the quality of tempering to the NPC disposition towards you. I thought that would actually be really cool. So something that says, like, since there's already kind of a precedent for that with the Stratavucos mods and things like crafting requires permission and stuff, where, you know, they'll let you use their crafting implements for free if you're friends, or for a discounted rate depending on your relationship with them. I thought it would be kind of cool if you were better friends with someone, like better friends with a smith, they would take more time and give you higher quality tempers for your equipment. I thought that would be kind of fun. But we'll see. At the very least, that other code should create a better system than what is in there right now. Let's see here. Lady Winter forgot to mention they have a way that you can remove certain beasts if you don't like one or something. Thank you very much, Lady. I love that kind of configurability. Felix says, I like the empty vials for potions as a good idea if you adjust money making or something. Sure. I mean, the economy is getting many different tweaks, but that's the other thing too, is that the time it takes to theory craft design solutions, and just when you're making a gameplay change, when you have a very intricate spider web at this point, right? You really have to consider a lot. A good example of that is when we were messing with carry weight in the last video, right, which is a system I'm still working on. Someone pointed out, who was it? Somebody, I can't remember off the top of my head. Someone pointed out that, I think it was Garrick, that if we made the changes that we were kind of experimenting with to carry weight, like new exploits would be introduced, specifically in the form of fortified muscles in the alteration tree, which makes it so that you have much higher carry weight, which in the system we were planning would potentially introduce crazy movement speed exploits. So, and that's just something as simple as tweaking a few numbers about carry weight. These are the kind of things that you have to consider, and the kind of things that can add to the work time when it comes to implementing new mods and new features and stuff like that. Lady says, like, for instance, there is a very aggressive troll that they placed under the bridge near Whiterun. He's very problematic because he kills everyone that crosses that bridge. I think it removes every single creature of that kind, but it's better than nothing. Well, see, and in those instances too, it's another example of why working with a large mod list that everyone has on their computer is so useful is, let's say we wanted to keep that type of troll in the game but just remove that specific instance. It's very easy to do that kind of thing, and it's something that we can do because everybody has the same installation kind of on their computer. Zieri says, when we were talking about these things, what about hunting permits, 500 septims every few days? So that was supposed to be geared so that it was 500 septims for like a week or something like that. But those were just placeholder values for the beta. Especially given the new carry weight changes, those hunting permits are going to be probably a lot cheaper. The crafting stations as well will probably be a little bit cheaper to use. Conversely, something that will be more expensive is carriage travel. That'll be more expensive. And also, for if you guys are curious, Imperial Mail might be getting the axe just because we were talking about it. There was some exploit kind of stuff that we were trying to cut out of it, and that got us talking about, this is me and the team, it got us talking about just the actual feasibility of a consistent delivery service being able to function in a wartime environment like Skyrim. And it may be a little bit too much of a stretch for our own internal suspension of disbelief. And typically, if that's the case, then we don't support it in the installation. But that's a maybe. We'll see about that. Here's what I think I'm going to do. I don't know why this always happens on these Monday streams. Probably because I eat terribly on the weekends. But if you guys will give me a moment here, I'm going to pause so that I can use the little boys' room very briefly, and then we will actually take down some bandit camps. How does that sound? Give our boy, what was his name, Zeltier, a few perks to play with, some cool equipment, and I think we're going to go take down some bandits and just do some combat. So if you'll excuse me for a moment, I will be back ASAP. Okay, thank you guys very much for your patience. Please pardon the interruption. I'm literally sitting here, like, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, just like sweating. I'm like, I need to use the bathroom. Hey Zazamari, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. I have my coffee, which is always cold by the time I finish the streams because I never drink it fast enough to enjoy it warm. You know what? That's okay because I can always make another cup. I can always put it back in the microwave if I want to. And the reason that happens is because I get all stoked talking to you guys about just random shit. All right. Now, I'm thinking we're going to take down Silent Moon's camp. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me see what questions that I got. Zieri, I hope so. If they would demand 20K for a week in our country, I would burn down Parliament. Well, you know, wartime, right? That game is very valuable, but I agree with you that there is it can be a little excessive, you could say. Another thing I wanted to ask, BB, is have you considered adding more options to Skyrim Unbound? I guess so, ST. It's something that I really have not looked at myself. I haven't looked at the kind of the core way that Skyrim Unbound functions. In fact, that entire functionality and like the adaptation for Ultimate Skyrim was handled by Gatto and Runewolf. So they are kind of like I would have to ask them about what level of feasibility adding different options is. I assume it wouldn't be impossible, because nothing is, really. It's something that I would consider. I think that the options available in Skyrim Unbound are fairly extensive as is, so it's not a tremendously high priority for me. However, if we can come up with options that would greatly enhance the experience, then it's definitely something we'd consider. I know that Runewolf actually over the weekend managed to add a new option to Skyrim Unbound, which allows you to add... You guys see that? Is that a bear or a saber cat? So that's why it's important to be listening. Okay. Anyway, sorry. He added a bit to the MCM for giving yourself more perk points if you want to when you start off with. I thought that was pretty cool. ST Skyrim Unbound, rocking the glasses today, feeling lazy today. Not so, Zazamari. I'm feeling pretty jazzed and energetic. After I finish this stream, I have I'm trying my absolute best to get the first part of the crafting overhaul done by the end of this week. That is making sure that all of the recipes are assigned to the proper stations and providing duplicate, recipes in the cases where they are required. I'd really like to get that done, and in order to do that, and then the second part is distributing all the new recipes and blueprints as part of the recipe and blueprint system. That's part 2. For that purpose, this is what I was going to say. I almost forgot. I really, today, I don't really have any time to spare on being lazy, frankly. It's going to be a large task that I'm going to have to pour a lot of time and effort into, but I think I can do it. We'll see. 20K a week for a hunting permit is good Thieves Guild propaganda. Well, 20K a week, that's definitely not... even with the default 500 septims, that would be 500 a week. So it would be exactly 2K a month, which is less, but potentially still a lot. It depends on how you view the economy, right? Lady says, are you going to be adding in all of Gamwitch's new creature textures? I was not aware that he released new creature textures, Lady. One thing about the only creature textures that I've thought or been kind of considering, and this is an old task that once again is fairly low priority, but something that I really like to do. There's a lot of things like that where it's like, it would be so cool if this was in the game, but you have to draw the line somewhere, right? Especially with the release of 4.0 being so imminent. But I'm going to get to it eventually because I can. Let's see. Also, what's the deal with the new creature textures, Lady? Hey, Severe, how you doing? There's also a few things that bug out the travel lantern. When I used an alembic, every time I equipped a travel lantern, if it asked me if I wanted to place a cauldron here. So that is something I'm uncomfortable even calling it a travel lantern bug because it's like this really mysterious bug that is causing activators maybe to like swap with each other, or like different mods are kind of triggering certain functionality in each other through means that we're really confused about. So like for some, like you use an alembic, it'll ask you if you want to place a cauldron here, or like sometimes you'll use one of those things and it'll spawn like a rug with a lantern. Really weird stuff. And I have a sneaking suspicion it's related to the occasional bug that we've been seeing where when someone uses like a book from Train and Study, for example, sometimes you'll have this weird scenario where you'll try and like leave the cell that you're in wherever you use the book, and you'll go a certain distance, and all of a sudden it'll teleport you back to the cell that you just left. It's very strange, and I think that the bugs are related, and that's something that definitely before 4.0 I would like to quash. I just want to understand what the hell's going on about it, because it's so interesting and so unlike any other bug I've ever seen before. But we'll see. Unfortunately, ST, I don't have an exact cause for you. If I did, I'd let you know. Also, the Vindicator leaves his cell in Whiterun. Oh, is that so? Yeah, I know he's part of the sewer. I mean, he's probably going to get the axe, pun intended, I suppose, entirely. And also his Watchman ripoff journal. I'm actually going to go and clean a lot of those. I don't know what it was with Skyrim sewers, but the author decided to pepper in, I mean, they're Easter eggs, but they're very visible and very obvious ones, like these copy, just text. Like when you go, remember in the last video, if you guys watched, we went into the Markarth sewers, and right on the wall was pasted this like forsworn propaganda text that I'm pretty sure was out of the Mel Gibson movie with the American Revolutionary War. What is that movie called? I couldn't remember then either. Let's see, Lady Winter says he has released a number of them. Spriggan, Atronach, Spider. I think he's working on the Lurker and the Seeker now. Can't remember off the top of my head if he's released more. He's releasing them at a pretty steady rate. That's awesome, Lady. So yeah, Gamwitch is one of the most preeminent texture designers in the modding scene, and everything he does is just like, so beautiful. He's the person responsible for rustic clothing, in case you guys don't know. That's what Lady's talking about. ST, I was sleeping in your Vasker, and this crazy fucker hits me with an enchanted ebony battle axe in full executioner gear. Yeah, so he's a little unbalanced, you could say. Damn, I'm surprised you managed to survive that. It's pretty nuts. Anyway, oh shit, I forgot that. Oh, is this a saber cat? It is. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to kill that guy. Because I think that, oh, he's coming up on me. Here he comes. Or is he? He's just chilling there. Why is he doing that? Is he going to come up on me if he... I'm going to mess with this guy's... Because normally the saber cats just kind of go for you. It's like he's warning me, I think. You moving, buddy? What's your deal? If I get too close, he's definitely going to come right for me. Oh, that's terrifying. Yep, here he comes. Ah! A good thing I have invincibility. Okay, so I'm going to kill this bad boy. I'm going to make a note here, though, because I don't remember giving them warn functionality like that. There's a... Hold on, where's my notebook? I'm just going to make a little note just to double check. This is the purpose of playtesting, right? Say, saber cat warning? Question mark. And what is his base ID? Base ID is 0001E. I really don't need to put the zeros in there. Force of habit. A1. Make sure those are ones. Alright. Sorry, bud. You're going down. Goodbye. Blah. I'm good. Good on that for now. Let's see here. Now, I am level what? I am level 1. Fantastic. So here's what we're going to do. How did I kind of deck this guy out? Alteration, that's kind of cool. I'm going to skip over that for now, though. Let's go block, two-handed, one-handed. I am going to advance his one-handed and marksman skill. And also evasion. And I'm going to give him maybe alteration as well, and then maybe we can go with a spell weapon. How does that sound? Found Bailey in stream the other day. He's a big fan and apparently finished US 3 times. Guessing that means Alduin. He did a Skyrim book reading stream yesterday that was pretty cool. That is really cool. Zazamari, Balian is, I would say, the biggest ultimate Skyrim streamer out there. I mean, obviously not just an ultimate Skyrim streamer. But Balian is fucking crazy when it comes to the skill that he actually has. I would say, without any doubt in my mind, he's better at Ultimate Skyrim than I am, significantly. I have never even come close to beating the game on a permadeath run like he has. And he did all of the DLC as well. Absolutely wild. He and I were talking about doing some promotional stuff for the launch of 4.0, which may or may not pan out, and I don't want to say too much about it, just in case it does or in case it doesn't. But hopefully, the ideas that we were kind of floating around with, he approached me with some very cool ideas that I would like to make a reality if possible, so we'll see how it goes. ST, currently I'm an orcish werewolf, and I also killed the old orc and got his gear. So you would be able to tank a hit from the, what's his name, Executioner guy. He's a pretty cool dude. Yes, he is. I also have the Lord Stone. Look at you, ST. Solid build. You totally should. You both could pick up some followers. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Gwynblade, for the follow. Also, cool username. I'm a big Witcher fan myself. Also, guys, fuck me. Cyberpunk 2077. News is coming out this week, as far as we know. And I've watched that trailer, God, it must be like dozens of times at this point. I showed Liz, this is my fiance. She doesn't play video games, but she, indulges me going on and on and on about them. And I showed her that trailer, and I thought it was really interesting because, her reaction to it was like she thought it looked cool, but she couldn't understand right off the bat, like, why we were all, like, so super excited about it. And that got me thinking about how interesting it is that, like, the reason I'm excited personally, right, is that I know it's CD Projekt Red, and that carries with it so many kind of assumptions about what that game will contain. Because if you look at it just kind of on its own, and you didn't know anything about the developer or anything about what sort of games they've made in the past or the fidelity of those games, it would probably look just kind of like a well put together but somewhat like generic cyberpunk thing, something you'd see out of just Hollywood or like a movie. But knowing that it's CD Projekt Red behind this world that they're showing off, like in the trailers and stuff, is just, it like adds this crazy degree of hype. It's just nuts. Sacriletius, I'm thinking about adding the old orc as a follower for my BUVRP mod. What is that mod, Sacriletius? Oh, you said it right there. Barely used vanilla actors recycle project. That is a really cool idea for a mod, man. Or woman. I really like that a lot. It's another good example of like, hey, here's some cool stuff from vanilla that gets totally underutilized. That's really awesome. I like that a lot. Also, I love the idea of having Old Orc as a follower, because you figure that, like, if this dude's goal is to have a good death, it's like, all right, man, how about this? You travel with me. You don't necessarily have to be the Dragonborn now. Absolutely post a link to your mod. Please feel free. You figure it's like, you could fight me because I'm the Dragonborn or whatever, but I'm the Dragonborn, or if you aren't, you aren't, but you're the player character. So it's like, I'm getting mixed up in some crazy stuff probably over the course of what I plan to do next. It's like, Old Orc, you travel with me, you're going to have plenty of opportunities for a good death, let me tell you, and then you'll really feel like you earned it too, instead of just kind of fighting me. It seems a little bit more anticlimactic than trying to fight. And then maybe, the character arc of Old Orc, he realizes that maybe he's not so useless after all, and that maybe there's still a reason for him to live. I mean, maybe he's still searching for that good death, right? But over the course of doing that, what he ends up doing with the Dragonborn adds so much more meaning to his life and his life fulfillment, because he's like making a huge impact on the world too, or something like that. You travel with me, and your crappy companion AI will definitely get you killed at some point. Monique, you are preaching to the choir. If you ever watched my my Let's Play series through season 1, poor anybody who got matched up with Hjolfrid, really. That was the one that made me kind of finally reconsider the permanence of follower death. I'm probably going to change the official settings in 4.0 so that followers are essential, just because the game tries, but it's an open world game from 2011, and the follower AI just cannot keep up with some of the emergent scenarios that occur. Anyway, back onto the actual gameplay. Let me see here. All right, here's what we're going to do. Player, advanced skill, one-handed by, let's see, what does 1,000 get us? Is that going to work while I'm in this menu? Did I do it wrong? No, I did not. Whoa. Let's try that again. Oh, it's just not enough to level me up significantly. Let's make that 10,000. I don't know why I deleted that one. There we got 25. That's pretty good. And then let's player.advance skill marksman by 2,000. This is how you cheat, by the way, guys. There's faster ways to cheat too, but you can do so much with the console. It's fucking nuts. Pardon my French. Marksman increased to 19. Let's bring that up a little bit more. Let's see here. I always felt kind of bad killing him. That's old orc, I'm assuming, but I also felt bad if I ever just left him. I agree with you, lady. It's tough because it's like, all right, well, it's like if I kill you, then you were a cool guy who I killed, and at least there you get to feel better, I guess, because that's what he wanted. But if you leave him, then he's just like, just out there waiting for a good death, and who else can bring that to him besides the player character, right? He's pretty strong, old orc. It's not easy to take down 2 saber cats. Yeah, I remember poor Lydia constantly getting wrecked. It's just the general Beth experience, I feel like. My first Fallout 3 playthrough, dog meat got eaten by a bear in about the first 2 minutes. Oh no. I agree with you, Monique, that it's just it's tough, man. It's tough to design open world AI. And even then, we'll say that AI is not exactly Bethesda's strong suit. Or I don't know if that's fair to say. Comparatively to other games, maybe. LOL, I feel like Lydia gets more shit than she deserves. Oh, I agree with you. It's like just a fun in-joke to do now, but it's kind of, the pendulum shifts back, right? To where everyone makes fun of Lydia for so long that it kind of goes back the other way, and everyone starts feeling bad for Lydia for how much everyone makes fun of her and how she actually has a pretty functional AI companion. One of the better ones in Requiem as well. Let me see here. Okay, so I got some marksman. I would like to do some alteration. Player.advanced skill alteration. Let's see how much 1,000. The skill curves for magic are a little bit different. Boop. Mac Mora, will AZ tweaks be easy to add to the US 4.0? Hell no, my friend. AZ tweaks is an extremely extensive mod. Oh, Blood Eye. Hey, what's up, man? And the orc wrecks you just as bad as saber cats, though. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It's like he can take down 2 saber cats. That's nuts. AZ Tweaks is an extremely extensive mod, an extremely ambitious mod that conflicts with Ultimate Skyrim in a lot of ways. If you were like making AZ Tweaks properly work with Ultimate Skyrim is like a dozen-hour endeavor, if that, and that's a dozen hours from someone who knows exactly what they're doing in TES 5 edit. So you're welcome to try. It's something that I've considered in the past too. I actually spoke with AZ about it because there's so many things that his mod does that I think are really cool. We were talking about a potential integration, but he told me that there was some additional stuff that he wanted to get ironed out first before he was comfortable integrating it into a larger mod pack situation, which I totally get. And it's really a question. It may never be added, but maybe there will be unofficial support for it. Maybe someone who really does know what they're doing will be able to go in and make it work. I don't know, but it'd be a really tough task. I can guarantee that. Monique, well, I'd say Beth's biggest problem is pathfinding in general. When NPCs can't bridge a minor gap or jump on a rock, they ultimately end up doing something stupid trying to get around. That's a good point. You could kind of argue that pathfinding, or their lack of pathfinding ability is the core cause of so many of those issues. It's also a big cause of immersion break in the games when you turn around and your NPC follower is running in place on a ledge, stuck on like a little bit of geometry. Okay, how we doing here? I'm gonna go give me maybe a little bit of magicka. 2 things of magicka. We're gonna go health. And alright, here we go. I'm gonna go marksman. I want one of these. Got 3 perks to mess with. Level 4. Level 4 is pretty fucking low to try and take down some bandits. I want to go dual wielding. Flurry. Here we go. Now, attack faster with one-handed weapons. Wait, hold on a second. Kimbo Master. Dual wielding power attacks. Deal extra damage. Okay, let's see. Flurry. Continued training further enhances your attack speed with one-handed weapons. So that is useful for a subtle speed and finesse. One-handed power attacks require less stamina to execute. That would be nice to have as well, but I don't want to pour all my eggs in one basket. Oh, evasion. Player dot advanced skill evasion. Let's go at 10,000. Oh, sorry. I meant light armor, of course. Blam. We're going to go magicka again. Yes, please. Oh, and we should get a cool dialogue box when we exit, telling us something dope about leveling up, like Morrowind style. Let's see. Sacroletius, hey, I actually like nav meshing. Nav meshing as a modding concept or as a design concept, I think is fun too. I've not done a ton of it myself, but I know how it works. It's just when they can't recognize like jumping, for example, like Monique said, it's tough. Doing navigation meshes is hard. It's just it is cool. It's like the idea of saying, hey, you guys can travel anywhere in this area, and like kind of making it so that NPC I think it's a fun modding task or even just development task to design good nav meshes that allow NPCs to navigate the worlds that you're creating efficiently. It's just really hard to do, and there are certain limitations of the practice, we'll say. Zazamari says, I thought I was good with 3 monitors, but now with Twitch, I need 4. Dude, so I actually found a way to... I have 5 monitors, technically. Not enabled right now. Right now, I only have 4, but that's the 3 on my desk and then the capture card that goes into the streaming PC. And I actually can do 5 at once because I have this monitor to my right. You can see my fingers. Being handled by my onboard integrated graphics in the motherboard. That was how I bypassed the 4 display limit from my graphics card, which is a 1080 for anyone that's curious. You know, tech jargon. Let me see here. Sniping giants level 1 because you stand on a rock. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's much harder to do in Ultimate Skyrim, Monique, because of the wide area of effect of their attacks. Blood Eye, give every NPC fireball spell, pathfinding unnecessary and solved. It's a good point. They do have really good aim. My first ever playthrough, Lydia died within 5 minutes. Got attacked by the thugs the second I stepped out of Whiterun. Didn't realize at the time that I accidentally killed her. Yep. From that point on, for the longest time, I disliked Lydia so much because I thought she was super weak. Stenvar became my go-to follower. Dear old Stenny. Well, you know, Stenvar in Requiem is factually weaker, I'm pretty sure, than Lydia. Lydia gets a bad rap, right? But I can see you being frustrated with that encounter. On the TS5 note, do you have any good resources on getting more into it? I know the basic stuff, but I'm struggling to get more proficient because most guides I've found just cover the basics I already know. Monique, I'm sorry, I really don't. Everything that I know about TES5 edit is kind of self-taught. I would like to make some resources myself after 4.0 comes out, alongside the other kind of video tutorial stuff I plan on doing for the actual gameplay of Ultimate Skyrim and 4.0. If you have any specific questions, I might be able to answer them quickly for you here. Otherwise, I'll just, hey, Snotnose, how you doing? I'll have to just wait until, or you'll have to wait until I make that video. I know that Gopher has incredible tutorials, but I'm pretty sure that if you've been searching around already, then you already know about those tutorials, and they probably are covering basic shit compared to like what you're trying to do. Zazamari, speaking of mods, you may want to add this. Oh, that link is purple, so I've looked at it. At the end, it redoes the UI for correct 21:9 scaling. I was using something else before and just recently found out about it. Handy for people with ultra-wide monitors. Cool stuff. Maybe I don't think I've seen that mod, so the link might just be purple for some reason. That is really cool to know about, Zazamari. Let me write that down because I have gotten questions from people asking for 21.9 support or whether or not Ultimate Skyrim has it out of the box, so to speak. Let's say, what's it called, by the way? I can't click the link, by the way. Or at the moment. Jeez. ST, I would like to know about Xedit 2. Corrupted Slime said SNBCJ is going to merge his Requiem balance mods into one. Oh, that's rad, Corrupted Slime. I wonder if such a mod would suit US. All of his mods or their mods were on the list for evaluation, if not integration. I know a lot of stuff that those mods do, and I think they're nice. Hey, True. Hello, nice cut. Thank you very much. I got this haircut actually last Monday. You know, I wanted to look nice and spiffy for my engagement photos. You guys, hey, you want to see one of the photos? Let me bring one up here. Shameless self-plug. Let me see here. This one's on my Instagram. Will this stay if I hold it? Whoa, actually, there it goes. Look at. That's us. This is engagement photos. It was a really fun time. I gotta say, I was really nervous. Just because I'm very much not used to getting my picture taken. I think Liz was in the same boat, but it really ended up being a lot of fun. Our photographer was she's super nice, and like the whole thing was very easygoing, and it was really fun. And we got some really cool locations. What I get here? Hello, nice cut. I would like to check for conflicts with certain mods, know how to make them compatible. So conflict resolution, ST, is probably one of the simpler things that you can do in Xedit. It's fairly easy to do. Hey Zerpy, how you doing? I've been lurking while I gear up for Mythics and WoW. Oh, good luck with that, my friend. No problem. Don't worry about it. Conflict resolution is probably the simplest thing. It's a lot of fun in a weird way too, just to make sure that your load order is nice and good to go and no errors and stuff. Really, the trick is just making a patch, like writing to a new plugin typically. And just forwarding the changes that you want. It's almost just like just dragging what you want to go through to the final game, adding that to a patch, and making sure it contains all the edits that you were looking for. Mod is called True by 9 Ultra Wide. Thank you very much, Zazamari. True by 9 Ultra Wide. Got it. The author also does the same mod for Fallout 4 and some other Bethesda stuff. Nice. Thank you guys very much for the congratulations. I should have worn an amulet tomorrow, right? It's like I was wearing one when I proposed, of course. Cute couple, congrats, you guys. Oh, I'm blushing. We were very happy together. Thank you, Zieri. On my phone, so I have a super small screen, but I automatically assume it is a great picture. Appreciate that, lady. I'm a fan. I am not the best picture taker in the world, or I typically feel a little awkward when taking pictures of myself or having pictures taken of me. That's why in most pictures that you'll see me in, I'm making like a stupid face, because if I'm making a dumb face, obviously, then, I'm the one who's making the picture look weird. But I'm really excited to see the photos. It was just so much fun to do it. And Liz and I were talking about it, where I think that based on how much fun we were having just doing it, a lot of that, I would assume, will show up in the final product. You know what I mean? Let's see. Leveling all my alts from 90 to 110 in WoW now because I'm locked on all mythics now. PM you the mod link for later. Thank you, Zazamari. When is your date? Mine is December 7, 2019. Congratulations to yourself, my friend. Ours is September 2019. Can't remember the specific date. Or actually, no, I do remember now. It is the... Actually, I'm gonna hold on to that date just for the sake of not providing too much information to the public, to where, I've gotten some tips from some friends who are in the internet sphere. It says, be careful with what information you make available. So, if you'll excuse me. If you want to check out my mod, it's called BUVRP ARP. you're interested, you can write it down. You have permission to use any of my mods for US. Thank you very much, Sacriletius. I will write that down as well. Did you link it in the chat? Because if not, you have my full permission to do so people can check it out as well. BUVARP. Barely use vanilla. That'll be enough for me to get it, I think. That's fair, as long as you actually remember. I do remember. I forgot it at one point before, and then I reminded myself, and now I know definitively. Thanks very much for the link, Sacriletius. Okay, once again, back to actual gameplay here. Not a lot of... I mean, I really think that most of these streams are going to end up being very strongly Q&A anyway, just because I know that this is like the weekly chance for all of us to interact. And I really love doing that. It's a lot of fun for me. And so some of you have noticed, you guys who are around my normal streams or like the game streams. Mr. Pyrian, thank you for the follow. I came here into one of your YouTube videos. You were wearing a Patty's Irish Pub shirt, which I have the exact same. Another It's Always Sunny fan. Joining the followers to help contribute to your community. Thank you very much, Mr. Pyrian. Funny story about that shirt. Well, before I get sidetracked on another thought. I was talking about the kind of generic gameplay streams that I was doing. They definitely were fun. The user interaction element is very fun. I just found that they were occupying too much time, and I was unable to develop at the pace that I was comfortable with while also doing those things. So I'm restricting my streams to these weekly dealios as of right now. Maybe that will change in the future, and I'll definitely be doing like an Ultimate Skyrim Season 2. But as of right now, I'm just trying to focus all my efforts on development. Anyway, about that shirt. One time I was at the gym. I was wearing a Patty's Pub Irish shirt. For those of you guys who don't know, it's the pub from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I was at the gym and I was wearing that shirt, and this like older man, maybe like mid-50s, came up to me and he was like, "Oh, like nice shirt." And I was like, "Oh yeah, like thank you." And he goes, "Yeah, Fighting Irish. My daughter goes to Notre Dame." I just kind of looked at him for a second and I was like, "Oh, yeah, man, like for sure." And he's like, "Yeah," and it just kind of shook his head at me, and then I was like, "All right, like see you later." I thought it was so funny. It was such a strange interaction. It was like, my shirt, if it's not clear, has absolutely nothing to do with Notre Dame. The only common element there is that Notre Dame is like an Irish founded school, I think, but at the very least that's like their mascot or like their theme is it's all Irished out, and they call them the Fighting Irish. I thought it was such a strange like leap of logic that just because my shirt said and it like also very clearly says like Patty's Irish Pub and it has nothing to do with Notre Dame at all. Just very strange. ST, even something as simple as a phone number can be traced back to a name and address. Oh man, let me make sure. I don't think well, that's on my public Instagram page. I don't think there's any super identifying information there. Another YouTuber held off on giving a specific date for his wedding because he was afraid people would track him down and show up uninvited to his wedding. That was exactly my thought as well. Just, you never know what's going to happen, and I'd rather be safe than be sorry. Mr. Pyron, haha, at least he meant well. Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt about it too. He was so jazzed that I was like, oh yeah, man, like, for sure. I didn't know what else to do, frankly. Alteration. Let's get, okay, I don't have enough to get apprentice alteration, but if I do, how about this? We go player, advanced skill. Oh, did I do this already? Get some light armor, perks, and then we'll finally kill something. How about that? Let me focus on getting that down. Dodge. I don't have enough to, oh, I do have enough. Okay, finesse. Your practice precision enhances the damage of all power attacks for light armor. That one's pretty cool. Dodging require, oh, I want to get dodge because I'm not good at it and I want to get better at it. Oh. Let me go with maybe marksman. Let's go fast movement. Improve your footwork with light range weaponry. Movement penalty is reduced while drawing light bows and crossbows. Advanced range combat. I'm just going to pure damage output. And then I'm going to pop in some more alteration. How'd I do? Whoa. I don't think I leveled up at all, actually. Oh, I did. Alteration. Give me apprentice alteration. Boom. What do I get to learn? Mage armor on self, definitely. Transmute muscles on self. Transmute muscles was the one I was thinking of before. Lesser knock and feather falling. I'm going to go with transmute muscles, at least for now. I love Requiem's system of spell teaching through the perks. Atru says, I'm late to the party. Are we focusing on any new mods today or just playing around? Really, we're just playing around. I feel like I started to say this. I kind of got sidetracked. Who would have thought? These streams seem to be mostly Q&A oriented just because it's really fun. Everyone kind of comes into the streams and has the questions, and I love answering them too. But it does make it difficult to show off a whole lot of actual content. Earlier, we were messing around with the new bottled water system. I added through a mod called Craftable Bottles for Requiem, I think, or Craftable Bottled Water. Basically, the Cliff's Notes is that you can now use empty bottles to get water at any water source the same way you can with I Need and the water skins. You will also receive empty bottles from any alcoholic beverage or just beverage that comes in a bottle. Will add an empty bottle to your inventory. And you can also empty the bottles out via your player crafting ability if you would rather just have the bottle and not actually drink the alcohol, because yeah, as we all know, in Requiem there's many instances in which you don't really want to get drunk. It's not advantageous. Zazamari, we're just making BB talk too much to play US. Feel free to contribute to distracting him. Dude, I am a squirrel. If that would be my spirit animal. Ty6 says, hey there, I think I will need to do a clean installation of Ultimate Skyrim again. I installed everything with almost all mods, and it worked, but the FPS performance wasn't good, so I tried taking some of them out and lowering the quality, but the game crashes when I get to the race menu. So probably, Ty6, I would, before you go and make an entirely new installation, unless you redid your patches, that might be causing your crashes. Kind of rhymes. I would post your info maybe in the Discord or the subreddit before going through the entire installation process again, just because it's kind of a pain in the ass. They might be able to help you out there. Alternatively, I mean, now that your game's crashing, I would also check your mod organizer errors, and if it's reporting any missing masters, that's a problem. That would be very likely to contribute to your crashing. But in general, removing any plugins from your load order, you definitely have to redo your Requiem patch. Depending on the mods you removed, other patches might need to be reran as well. And also, if you are experiencing FPS problems, it's worth trying a different INI profile as well. Those will help out a lot. ST, do I need to run AV Patcher for the Beta 4? If you're using automatic variants, you definitely do. Otherwise, you don't. All right, let's see here. Yeah, true. I really like that bottle system. It's a small thing, but I think it makes a big difference. All right, here we go. Oh, shit, I leveled straight up to 6. All right, now give myself some gear. I wanted to give myself a spell weapon. Help. Spell dagger. How about, I was hoping I could get one. Fast healing would be pretty good, but that's restoration. I would prefer like a mage armor one. Oh, why not? Let's see. Player.add item. An orcish one, too. That's really good. Let's see what kind of spell swords I have. Spell sword. Whoops. Damn it. Spell sword. There we go. Scroll up to weapons. I don't want Daedric spell swords. This is a little better than I would have. Why don't we have a... there we go. Player.add item 95004EC01. Alright, we got a steel spell sword of oak flesh. I'm wondering if I'll have enough magic to cast that. I should with the perks that I have, but we'll see. And then why don't we just get like a dope sword, like an elven longsword. Add item 9706 B4781. Alright, so we got 2 dope weapons, and then why don't we give ourselves a, what would be like a good, relatively mid-range bow to use? Help. We can go with an elven bow. Elven bow. Why don't we give it a cool enchantment too? Player.add item. Actually, let's just go, whoops. Player.add item 1399D1, and I don't know if I have any arrows. Help. Arrow steel. Add item 1397F. I'm gonna give myself 50 of these. Alright, let's make a save real fast. Just in case we get a crash or something happens. Tysix says, thanks for the info. I did all the patches again. Might be I changed the Skyrim ini to medium quality. I think that was my mistake. Thanks for answering. Good luck, my friend. Let's see here. I got iron, Skyforged steel. Ooh. I'm going to unfavorite these because I won't be using them. Elven bow, elven longsword. I'll drop the imperial bow and this iron dagger. Spell sword of oak flesh. Now, let me just practice a bit here. Let's go. There we are. So I got my dual wielding situation here. And my... There we are. I accidentally used the other one. And if I right click... No, wait, no. Trying to remember how to use this. Actually, I don't know if I can if I'm using a... Here we go. Just have to block. Yep, there we go. Oh, so if I want to use that... Oh, that's tricky. So I would have to go... Do I still have God mode on? I think I do. Let's go... Do I... Oh, I don't have dual shield blocking installed? Do I not? Dual wield... I thought I did. Oh, block key is V. Try that again. Okay. There we are. Bam, baby. Alright. I don't know how long that's going to last, but hopefully a while. We're actually going to kill something. How about that? Make this 1 and 2 and... Actually make this 3. And this will be 1 and this will be 2 because I'm used to that. Alright. Now I want steel arrows. I'm going to get you. That's a hard shot to make. Lateral moving targets. Low percentage shot. Just so you know. I'm also going to add that mod that gets rid of the rim glowing. It's like, gee, I wonder if you could spot me. Uh-oh. Fuck me. Their visibility is so good. Gotcha, baby. Oh! Dude! You're fucking joking me. Ah, he just let loose a crossbow bolt and just fucked me in one go. Ah. Okay. Let's see. Sacriletius, I recently started a playthrough with a max carry weight of 30. Funny you mentioned that. So the carry weight system we were talking about in the last video will probably put players' base carry weight around there, and you will add more carry weight onto yourself by equipping armor, which comes with like little pockets and shit, and then also through bandoliers. And I'm thinking I might be able to implement a system as well where when you're wearing less stuff in your pack, you'll move a little bit faster. But in general, carry weight will be significantly reduced, so you really have to think hard about what supplies you're choosing to bring. Why don't we go ahead and load back? Let's try that again. Shit's brutal, man. Crossbows, light armor, does not mix well. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to... Am I still in God mode? I am not. Okay. And I set up... Did not set it up. Okay, Imperial Bow. Ah, I didn't give myself my stuff yet. Oh, no, I did. I just didn't set it up. Okay, cool. Remove that, and remove this, and remove that, and this, and you can drop it. Who gives an F? And we'll do Elven Bow 2, Elven Longsword 3, 1, and equip those. And I hope the MCM has... Nope. Okay, there. And I'm going to equip all my stuff. Oops. How do I hold down the button to dual wield it? I can't offhand. I just got to equip it like this, huh? Okay, Elven Longsword, and then... I'm going to save it. Boom. Just like that. I haven't used my oak flesh yet, but I can. Blam. Wow, that is really... So that's what's really cool about the spell weapons, right? Is like, I have some decent perks in Alteration as this character, but I'm a red guard right now, and I only have... What is it? Like 95 magicka with some sort of bonus. I think that's from the varied diet. That's really not a lot of magicka. But because I have a spell weapon, it allows me to use that ability for much less. We can actually compare with all of the armor that I'm wearing at the moment. Let's see, because I have, yeah, mage armor on self. you can see how much magicka. That takes almost my entire magicka bar to cast otherwise. So the spell weapon is a really big bonus in that case. Actually, here. Go 1 and then left just for when we switch back. And let's try. I'm going to save again so that we're closer. And this time, how about we don't get fucking dropped right off the bat? Gotcha, baby. I did not get... Oh, he brought his crossbow out. I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh! I don't like this. I don't like it. I can read... Oh, he's... Whoa! Drawing back. Don't. Oh, he missed. I didn't even see him. I got you, baby. You're mine. Whew! Man, I was getting kind of nervous there. Oh, he's got some cool shit. Raw dog meat. That's nasty. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hey, buddy. My oak flesh is gone. Oh, fuck. That still hurt really bad. It's been a while. Yeah, give me that stamina back. Ugh. This sucks. Oh, he fucking interrupted me. You son of a bitch. I should have gone with the spell weapon of healing. Oh. Oh. Fuck you. Oh. For those of you guys who don't know, this can show off some of the better combat evolved. Oh. Ha. Oh, God. Okay, do I... Oh. I forgot. Oh. Oh. What a fuck. Give me more stamina. Oh, got him. Oh, that one attack. Whew. That was rough. Mr. Pyrean, when I watch some of the installation videos, I'm so daunted by the challenge of installing Ultimate Skyrim. One day I will get there. Sorry about that, man. I try to make it as clear as possible. Hopefully you'll get it. But I don't know. If it was working before, then it sounds like you got it the first time through. Do I have any heal? I have a potion of healing. Oof. I'd say I want to even potentially reduce the... It already reduces the chance that they'll taunt you by a fair bit in Combat Evolved and the changes that we've incorporated from it. But maybe we'll even make that more or less of a chance. Also, oh my god, it's already 11:54. So I'm gonna trigger these bandits and get them to run in on us just as a final thing, since I know you guys have probably been waiting for the actual gameplay here for quite a while. But I'm gonna have to go right after that. So within like the next 10 minutes. I forgot menus don't pause now. I did, Zazamari. For that reason, why don't I'm gonna give myself another potion of healing. Help, potion of healing deficient. Whoops. Forgot the other quotation mark. Player.add item. Itram. Item. 3E ADD. Give myself 3, not 33. And then let's also give myself a potion of, what is it, stamina? And it's not stamina. Oh, it is. Okay, player.add item. 3EAFD3. I'm going to take these. I'm going to hotkey them. And why don't I make these guys, let's call that 4 and 5, just in case I need to use them in combat. Zazamari, any way to change the behavior, make it so it just slows down time instead? If you're talking about Skyrim Souls, yes, there is. There's a mod for that, and we may incorporate it. I haven't decided yet. I've been kind of focused on other stuff at the moment. Are there any other guys here? Is it just the two of them? I really wish we could have kept telescopes, but it just does not work with Skyrim Souls, and if I had to choose between them, I unfortunately choose Skyrim Souls. Alright, well. The horse. I have an idea. It's so fucking dark in here. Do I have a travel lantern yet? I don't. I have leather strips though and lantern oil, so I can make one. Let's go here. Travel lantern. Yes. And equipment. Travel lantern. Got it. Add oil to my lantern. Now I can see. Look at that. Death bells. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I have an idea. You guys ready for this? Where's the chest? For those of you who don't know what's about to happen, You will be surprised. Where's the... Oh, there it is. Oh, we got a little note. Note to Akari. Akari, you can take those prices and eat them. We found our own source of skooma now. The real stuff, not that watered-down, third-hand trash you've been selling. And don't even think of ratting us out. One word to the guards, and I'll make sure they know what that seer of yours is really up to. Oh, shit, baby. All right, you guys ready? Oh, I don't have the key, but I'm going to open it with my magical god powers. Let's see. Zazamari, also any ideas when you might play some Cataclysm DDA? I know you're busy. I unfortunately do not have any ideas on when that will be. I still need to actually sit down and play the game myself before I think about producing some content on it. Oh shit, look at that. Khajiit Caravan note from Akari. Oh, and some skooma. It's like, yeah, you guys, look, see, skooma, look at that, look at all the stuff it does. This little tiny text. Dude, that is crazy. That's like 2,000 gold that you just found right there. If you use it as at a Khajiit Caravan. Oops. Let's see, unlock. Unlock. I've not been playing any game. Uh-oh, here they come. There's the mans. Steel Midnight. Climb faster, please. There we go. Ah! Here we go. Here we go. I want that crossbowman first. Where is he at? Who's... There you are. Gotcha, baby. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not ready to die today. How many of you are there? 2 of you? I'm going to take down one of them with the horse, and then I'm going to go to the next one. Oh! Take that. No, I'm going to bury you. I'm going to jump. Ha-ha! Boom, baby. Alright, how about this? Now that we killed both of them, or we jumped off of them. Oh, that's not a fast dismount. Okay. Bring my weapons up, please. No, that's the wrong button. Oak flesh, baby. Whoa. 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 Oh. Gotcha. Where you at? You want some? You have a potion of stamina. Come on, then.
No, not like this.
Yeah, like this. Oh, you're getting up, huh? Oh-ho. I feel like the Requiem... Oh. The Requiem flee function. I'm not 100% sure it's working. Wow, fuck. That oak flesh really helped there. Come on, then, baby. I think I should pick a different blocking. How about this? How about this? Me first. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, it's good to get back into combat. Empty skooma bottle. Oh, he's got a potato. My favorite. How about that? Because then if I want to block or attack from blocking, I have to like shift my fingers over. Maybe I'll change blocking to like this button, the bottom mouse button. The problem is when I'm designing those controls, not everyone has buttons on their mouse. So it's kind of, but I do, so I like to use them. I suppose in those cases I just leave it to other people to come up with their own solution. Also, wow. Guys, look, we did a successful encounter and we didn't die at all, not even once. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Let's see. Play it blind will all side seat help you. You talking about Cataclysms, Azamari? I might do that if I find the time. It's really the difficult part, right? Is finding the time for it. Wow, only 52 septims, huh? I just made 2,000 by finding a note. Who leaves that out like that? In fact, actually, I might go remove that. Yep, that's gonna have to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that encounter. Hopefully you enjoyed all the rest of everything we talked about today. I definitely did. This was very fun for me, and I will be back doing another stream next Monday. In between then and now, there will also be another development update that will drop next Saturday. Cold weather. The area is cold, and your exposure will begin to increase. The indicator at the top of your screen shows the current temperature. It's not at the top of the screen. It's at the bottom. But yeah, so there will be another developer update in between then and now. I'm going to try my absolute best to get that first part of the crafting overhaul all sorted and done by that point. You guys will know what the deal is for sure. Also, my God, is that beautiful. Let's go to the top of this ridge. Just check it out. Let's turn off our light, too, so we can really appreciate the full gravity of it. Very gorgeous. And thank you guys for joining me, as always. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a pleasant week as well. Thank you, Mr. Pyrian, Felix, Zazamari, everyone who joined me, Bloodeye, Lady, everyone who stopped by. I very much appreciate it. And I wish you guys a wonderful week. And I will see you soon. Oh, we got one last message. One Bad Kitty. Hi, I'm installing Beta 4 right now. Really love your work. Thank you very much, Kitty. Ginger Ollie, thank you for the follow. Ultimate Skyrim was the thing that I was looking for after playing Skyrim for 1,000 hours. You're the first person that I subscribed. I think you really deserve it. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Kitty. I appreciate it. You're the best. All of you guys the best. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.